Michelle Sapatigui. Today I'll be talking about one of the programs implemented in a remote school that really helps students reading skills as well as their academic performances. Let's start off with a brief introduction of the school. Maram Primary School is a missing run school runs under the agency of Atmos 360 on New Tribes Missing in Papua New Guinea. The school is located in the remotest part of Pacific Province in Engrom District, Karawari LG in the Blackwater Lakes of Papua New Guinea. The school is some kilometers away from Wewak town, and it would take approximately 1 to 2 days to travel to town if you are traveling by motor canoe or a boat. And also it would take only 40 minutes to travel by planes like MAF or NTM Kodiaks. Problems that in the reading and learning in schools in and around Blackwater Lakes. In 2019, when I first went into this part of Pacific Province to teach, I discovered things that are affecting schools as well as the students learning in these areas. One of the problems identified is the distances and geography. Communities in and around Blackwater Lakes are mostly covered with swamps, rivers, and lakes. And there were only 2 schools situated in 2 different villages, but the schools were miles away from Mariama village. So one of the problems identified there is teacher absenteeism. It is a huge issue in these areas. Teachers in these schools were coming from Wewak town to commence academic year on February or March, and then after 2 to 3 months, they would leave the school and go back to town. In town, they would spend the rest of the schooling here just doing nothing. About next 2 months or so before the school ends, they will come back. Some months around September to October, they will return to school to close the academic year. So this process has been ongoing. When they come back for the new academic year, they would tell the students that you did grade 5 last year, so this year you're going to do grade 6, or you did grade 7 last year, so this year you are going to do grade 8. So this has been affecting the students' learning in this area. Another problem identified is educational learning and teaching resources are not easily accessible, and also teachers are not fully dedicated and committed to teach students. So when the NTM teachers went in there to start to establish the school in 2019, many students came in or transferred in to our new school, Since we have had about school issues in these areas in Blackwater Lakes, we decided to diagnose the students to verify and analyze their reading skills as well as their learning abilities. And when we did that, we found out that only 15% of the students can read well. Another 30% of the students are semi-illiterate, and the 55% of the students were illiterate and they cannot read a single word at all. Areas they were lacking in their reading skills were identified as the following: non-mastery of the elements of reading. The first one is no phonological awareness. The second one is no mastery of alphabet knowledge or sounds. And the third one is no mastery of phonics. The fourth one is poor word recognition, also the vocabulary and poor fluency skills and lack of comprehension. Implementation of the Learning to Read program. We implemented the program using Jolly Phonics integrated with other reading materials or curriculum, which blend in well with Jolly Phonics, like ABK, that was used by the Mid Tribes. We integrated other reading materials and curriculum which blend in well with Jolly Phonics, like ABK curriculum, which was used by Mid Tribes, and CLE curriculum, which is Christian Light Education. We start with phonological awareness. It is the ability to hear the sounds in a word. Many students have not mastered phonological awareness and are experiencing difficulties on sound learning in simple words like mat, net, or pig. It also connotes an awareness of rhythm, rhyme, sound, and syllables. For example, students slapping to the beats of their name. Another step involved is rhyming. It is the most important subset of phonological awareness in the development of reading. For example, producing rhyming patterns like met, fat, set, and so on. This exhibits early phonemic awareness. Additionally, phonological awareness enables students to focus on the separate sounds in words called phoneme sounds. So at this step, students learn to divide syllables into separate sounds and manipulate them to form different words. Letter sounds relationships can then be introduced, and children can be taught phonemic and phonic skills simultaneously from this point onwards. Okay, another problem here is alphabet or knowledge or sound, alphabet knowledge or sound. Another problem identified in the diagnostic test is the confusion between the letter sound and the letter word or letter name. So in Jolly Phonics, letters were introduced in their sounds and not their names. For example, S and not S for letter S. And so the other letters are introduced in similar fashion. It was very evident that the students find it difficult to distinguish letters from sounds. For example, when blending, instead of sound B, they read B. They added vowel in every consonant, and also they say the name of the letter instead of the sound. Phonics or alphabetic principle is another problem that I identified. So students who cannot recognize the relationship between letters and sounds are still having difficulties with the sounds. So we have to start teach the 7 sets of Jolly Phonic sounds, including the single letter sound, consonant blends, and vowel sets. Also, sight words or tricky words are introduced alongside with phonic instruction. Sight words or tricky words must be learned by just recognizing until the point where they can say it automatically. By just teaching students sounds and how to blend the words, blend and read words will not help. So it is crucial to implement other reading elements such as reading books, readers or primers, that goes together with each lesson that enhance reading skills. If you do not have full set kit or Jolly Phonics set kit, you can be improvised, especially to those teachers who are teaching in the remote schools. You can be improvised, be creative, and use the materials that you have. You can be creative to create your own materials, teaching materials like flashcards or charts and even small books to make your teaching effective. Poor word recognition and vocabulary, and poor fluency skills and lack of comprehension. Students cannot recognize these words easily and have limited vocabulary and tricky word sight words. So using Jolly Phonics and other related materials, teachers plan for activities that will help students in areas they are lacking in. Example, we teach them new words and 72 tricky words in Jolly Phonics as we introduce new lessons so they can have enough word being. After sets of sounds were introduced, students were given storybooks to read. These Jolly Phonics readers are decodable text. They have been carefully written using controlled vocabulary and using only the letter sounds or spelling or tricky words that the students know. It helps students develop independent reading skills. We also encourage them to read books and speak in English, so this can help them in their fluency and comprehension. Reasons why students cannot master elements of reading could be teacher knowledge, or teacher may have not trained to teach reading, or lack of materials to be implemented effectively. Effective reading lesson, or maybe for some other reasons, teachers are not effective in their practice in the classroom. Phonics or alphabetic principles, students who cannot recognize the relationship between letters and sounds are still having difficulties with sounds. So we have to start teach the importance and impact of Learning to Read program. Learning to Read program is very important because reading is the key to all learning. Without reading, learning cannot take place. The ability to read unlocks an entire universe of learning that children will explore for the rest of their lives. Therefore, if students master reading, it will improve their result in school. It serves as a building blocks for learning. It improves their vocabulary and develops their communication skills. It improves literacy and general knowledge. It helps develop critical thinking skills, and better comprehension, and it helps them in daily life, and the list goes on. Another achievement is during graduation or school closing, students confidently read books or Bibles in English to the audience. They also do presentation in English on what they have learned in school. This school closing event has always attracted the attention of the surrounding communities and villages around Blackwater Lakes, Karawari, and Sepik River. They travel distances just to witness or attend our graduation or closing day. Seeing students read confidently in English is like a cultural shock to them because they do not experience such event in school closing where students read in English, especially in these areas. So this program has dynamically changed the school culture within the societies around Blackwater Lakes. It changes the mindset of people about education and in these communities, and it motivates teachers to be effective in their teaching practice in the classroom. And most importantly, it helps students to read well and progress in their learning. Many rural or remote schools in Papua New Guinea are facing these such problems and issues. Teachers tend to neglect or avoid these sort of problems in their classrooms and schools. This learning to read program implemented in my remote school is very helpful. Students acquire strong reading skills which help them increase their chance of academic success and lifelong learning. Parents and communities are also benefited from this program. This program encourages many students to come to our school and learn many things. It motivates teachers to keep imparting skills to the students. Reading is a very important skill. It is a gateway to learning. The ability to read well unlocks the entire universe of learning that children will explore for the rest of their lives. Therefore, as teachers, regardless of your location or issues you may have faced in your schools, or if you identify a need in classroom, do not hesitate to implement programs like this. Instead, be creative and innovate new ideas to teach your students effectively so that they can learn and achieve their academic goals. And the rewarding part is, as a teacher, you will be satisfied that you have changed